Welcome back, guys, back to the Fight Capital Show. Today I got a big interview with Robert Valentin. Guys, I hope you enjoy. All right. So I always like to begin the show by just, getting a little rundown on, first of all, why you would pursue mixed martial arts. It's an odd job, really. You don't hear it too often from everyone. You know what I mean? Like some people, they look at it, they're like, why pursue it? I want to know, what was your upbringing, really? What made you want to do this?
Yeah. Um, I would say I was bred to be a fighter. I always liked to fight. Since I can move, I started actually with soccer when I was like 4 years old, but I would get in fights while playing soccer. Um, then I would get in fights in school. Then I would get in fights with my neighbors, with my friends, just for fun though. Not like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was trying to hurt them, but I would always like to scuffle and scrap. So yeah, I always liked that. And then I started judo as a kid, and I became very competitive. And then yeah, it just continued like that. So I was always fighting since I can remember. It was a very natural path for me. So I always liked it. I was passionate about it, and I always thought I follow my passion. So that brought me that brought me where I am now.
Was there any fighters that you saw on TV or something and you wanted to emulate their style, if anything?
And no, not really, because when I was a kid, I didn't know about like MMA or anything like that. So I basically got introduced to MMA when I was like 21 years old,
Oh, wow.
and before I had no idea about it. And when I was introduced to MMA, I would watch John Jones every day, all day, every day. So he was maybe like the first kind of fighter that I looked up to. But before that, I was in judo. Judo was my world. I was looking up to some judokas and stuff, but basically, like I've watched maybe a little bit of boxing, but not really. MMA, I literally had no idea that this even exists. Yeah.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I heard you trained in Switzerland, Germany, France, and Thailand. Now, Switzerland, I know because, well, that's where you're from. But
Mhm.
what would you say was probably like the wildest like place you've ever trained at out of all of them?
Definitely Thailand.
Yeah.
Thailand is crazy. Thailand is insane because it's like the mecca for fighters, and especially a lot of people from the Russian speaking countries come there, and they go hard in sparring. So I lived in Thailand for 4 years, and that was definitely the craziest time training wise. Like you get in sparring wars every day with those guys, and yeah, definitely crazy place. Yeah.
Now, uh, obviously, your last fight, you won. Congratulations on that. But going into that fight, you were 0-3. You knew your contract was basically on the line.
Yeah.
How was it just the lead up to it? Training every day. What was going through your mind, really?
Um. Yeah. Good question. So, like you said, I was fighting for my career. My career was on the line. My future in the UFC was on the line. So that was the mentality I had in my fight camp. Like I'm fighting to preserve what I worked for basically my whole career. So obviously a lot of pressure. But on the other side, also I was like, hey, you know what? I have nothing to lose. Uh, I go in there and give it all I got. I don't hold back on anything, and if it's not enough, then it's not enough. Then I know at least. So I was kind of I throw everything in the kitchen sink at this guy. So I would that was the mentality I had in my training camp as well. I was like, you know what? I love this. I have fun every day going to the training and have fun fighting. So if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. If I'm losing the fight, then yeah, I gave it all. So
Yeah. I
I wouldn't back down, and I wouldn't go in there unprepared or like, oh, maybe I'm 80%. No, I would go in there 100%, so I know at least I get an honest feedback, you know.
Yeah. Now I heard on the Frozen Fights podcast that you were talking about um, you want to fight within the next 8 weeks. I don't know how long ago you recorded that podcast with them, but
Mhm.
has anything changed since then? Have you gotten a location, a date for your next fight by any chance? Oh, you got to keep it silent, so you do have one.
Yeah, I do.
Oh yeah, you do, man. Can you give a
Yeah.
little hint, maybe?
Nope.
No, not right now, not right now, man. You
It's-
gotta keep it. You gotta keep
I
it
think
nice.
UFC's gonna UFC's gonna announce next week maybe.
Next week?
So I hope so. You never really know, but I think they're gonna announce. Um, so it's a very exciting one for me. It's yeah.
Something to stay tuned to.
Yeah.
Now, also on the podcast, I heard you also say you want to come back to Canada at a point in your career. Now, I'm from Canada, a different city from them. I'm from Montreal, and you talked
Nice.
about after your fight, you went to the strip club. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Listen, we got better girls here, man. I'm gonna be real.
I hope
They always
so.
say Montreal top quality, man, top quality. So if you
But it's
if
also not hard. It's also not hard to have hotter girls than Winnipeg because
it was not
they
bad.
didn't set the bar very high.
Oh my god. Yeah, man. No, I'm just saying, man, if you hear there's a Montreal card, you better hop on it, man. I'm gonna be real. The celebration is gonna be terrific for you. All you have to do, you
I
text me, I know all the places for you.
100%. I have to say, like the Canadian crowd and the Canadian energy there, I loved it. You know, it's to be honest, so many people talk shit about the card and about
Yeah,
Winnipeg, you know, and I'm always the guy. I don't focus on the negative shit, you know. So
yeah.
I'll go out there with an open mind, and hey, hell got I rewarded for that because as soon as I announced that I'm fighting on the card, so many people from Winnipeg reached out to me and supported. Like one guy offered me a car, another guy offered me free gym access, and another guy offered me a bunch of steaks, and the other guy invited us for food after the fight. Like, the support was amazing, and obviously going into the fight, the people were booing because they supported their homeboy, but after the fight,
Oh
how
man,
many
it was loud.
Canadians, how many came to me and wanted to make picture and send me support and I didn't know how the other fights were, but the people that I brought to the fight told me like after my fight the arena was going crazy. So I really have to say, fucking love Canada, love the people, and if there's a chance to fight again in Canada, you bet I'll be on the card.
Oh man, I love to hear that, man. Yeah, I love to hear that, and I hope they really announce a card like soon for Montreal, possibly within this year or next year or something. But another thing, you had talked about like how people were talking like bad about the card initially,
Yeah,
leading up to it. I was also talking with Charles Jourdain, who was on the event about it, and he told me people are always gonna hate. They're always gonna have something to say about something, but
100%.
I swear it happens so many times that the cars that people talk amazing about end up being sometimes not
The best.
not
Yeah.
not as good as the ones that people say like a bunch of bad stuff about, like this one. This one ended up being like everyone was talking about it being such a good card after it happened.
Yeah, so many finishes, so many exciting fights. Like there were no easy fights. There were no like boring matchups. There were no like hug snooze fest or whatever, you know? Like the all the fights that I saw from the locker room before me, they were all bangers,
Oh
you
yeah.
know? And then after me, I just saw like the guy after me right away, great knockout, and then the main card I didn't really watch because I was back doing the media and stuff. But the people were like liked the card so much, and that for me just proves one thing again: people gonna talk regardless, but the real feedback you get from the people who have been there in the arena live, and they always gonna tell you, man, that was a fucking great time, you know. So that's all that counts for me because before the fight I don't really listen to those things anyways. But for me, a win is not just beating my opponent. A win is getting the crowd, getting those people excited. Give them a run for their money because they paying their hard-earned money to be in that arena, and I want to entertain them. That's my job. So for me, getting the feedback that I got after the fight was like double the win.
Yeah, and you did entertain, man, and you really did. Now, I also want to speak on something that you posted recently that went viral across the internet. It's something that you referred to on your story as well, like today, about your dark humor video about the girl saying, I'm not like I don't like your style in music, and then what you played.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Now, I was scrolling through the comments, and like almost every single comment was saying, "This guy's my new UFC, my new favorite UFC fighter." How did you feel about the response from everyone?
Yeah. So I always had a dark humor. I always made offensive jokes, and I always promised one thing to myself: once I'm in the UFC, everybody's gonna see that kind of humor from me. Because to be honest, before the UFC, and if you don't know where you're gonna end up, you can burn your name by posting stuff like that.
Yeah,
I'm so blessed that the UFC gives us like all the freedom we want. Like we can say whatever we want. We can have dark humor. We can say offensive stuff. And the people that know me, they also know the intention behind it is just to make people laugh. I want to be edgy. I want to be offensive because tell me a good joke that's not offensive.
yeah,
I
no,
don't know.
exactly.
So I was like, as soon as I signed that UFC contract, I'm gonna put that stuff out there, and hell, the people love it. So for me, it's just I love this community, of people laughing about real jokes and don't like this whole pretending stuff of something being funny. Sucks ass. But to be honest, like so many people, like they try to be funny but political correct, and then you get those fake laughs. I'm not about that shit. I say stuff that's maybe edgy, and some people will find it offensive. But you see the comments. People like it. People need that nowadays. They need to have somebody that says offensive stuff because everybody's kind of too shy or whatever.
Well, my humor doesn't even really like it's kind of fading a bit. You know, you see a lot of like you said, the UFC they allow you to do all this stuff. You go to hockey, you go to soccer. You say one little thing, it's getting bleeped on their personal
Yeah,
Instagrams. It's all little, just photos of them and their family, no personality to them. It's very blunt right now, and that's what sucks about it. And I'm glad that
yeah.
you actually post what you want to post because it's
Thank you,
important.
bro.
It's freedom,
Appreciate
like,
that.
and you know what, man,
Exactly.
it's doing well. It's doing well, and
Yeah, it
like,
does.
I sent that reel to like so many of my friends. I couldn't stop dying of laughter, man.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate it.
Yeah, and I also saw another thing. You were training with Sean Strickland. You're training in Sean Strickland's camp, I believe. Like
Yeah,
ahead of up to his fight. Now,
yeah,
I just want you to give me like a little rundown on like what training has been like for the lead up to his fight. Now he's fighting obviously tomorrow. Uh,
yeah,
this podcast maybe it's gonna be up by tomorrow morning. Maybe it's gonna be up later. But I just want to I want to hear like your thoughts on the whole fight and how do you think
yeah.
Khamzat's gonna come out? How do you think Sean's gonna come out? What are your thoughts?
So, man, I training with Sean and his team. I think for anybody that knows Sean, just from the UFC screen, they would be surprised how wrestling heavy, grappling heavy, and how strong he is in those aspects of fighting. Like people sleep on his grappling, on his wrestling. They don't know, but Sean is a high level wrestler and grappler. And I've been talking so much about like what can happen in this fight with people because obviously people ask me, "Hey, you're in the camp. What do you think?" And I think if there's one middleweight right now that can give Hamzat uh, trouble, it's Sean because everybody else, wrestling wise, grappling wise, they don't like. There's not a big threat, for Hamzat. He's such a high level guy when it comes to wrestling and grappling, and Sean might be the only one that can, you know, be a competition for him. I think the fight's still going to be a very tough fight for Sean. Um, Obviously, a lot of pressures on him. He's going in there as the underdog, right? Khamzat also showed good striking in his UFC career so far, but I would say again, style wise and striking, his style is not fitted for a guy like Sean because Sean is very like tactical. He breaks you apart bit by bit with those jabs, with those teeps, and he explodes in certain moments in striking. So he will go a certain pace, and then he sees an opening and he goes ba 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 ba. All right, then like he goes full power. When you see those fights where he finished people with striking, let's say like the last one, and
Anthony Hernandez.
Flossy Hernandez, or like yeah, when he was fighting in welterweight, he fought this Dominican guy Garcia, or Brandon Allen. You know, like Sean will lull you into a rhythm where he also gets a little bit touched. You know, you land a couple punches, and he's like with his weird stance and pumps out the jab, and then all of a sudden he throws in all his power, and he's got power. And I think Hamzat in striking is more a guy, he waits a lot and he jumps into big, like powerful combinations, or leads in with a big right hand. And I think against Sean, this can be very dangerous, you know, um, because the volume will make you move backwards. There is no waiting and exploding forward against Sean Strickland. He will constantly make you move, 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 move. And once you make a little mistake by moving backwards, he will capitalize on that mistake. So I think the fight's probably mainly going to be decided on the ground.
Yeah, I was seeing a lot of people talk about the ground, the like obviously the ground game aspect of this fight, but a lot of people are talking bad about Strickland's grappling. I feel like they haven't watched a lot of tape on Strickland when they say that. Like if you watch the Usman fight, he was capable of getting up. There was plenty of fights where he was capable of getting up versus very good grapplers, and they're just completely writing it off just because it's Khamzat Chimaev.
Yeah, exactly. And one more thing that we have to consider. Think about the fight with Gilbert or also Usman. Think about what they like, what kind of weight they bring into the fight, and how it affected Hamzat's uh, condition, like towards the end of the fight. And those two guys are not big guys. And you could say Hamzat fading a little bit, like not a lot, not like crazy, but definitely had an impact on how explosive he is. You know how fast he's moving. And Sean is a big guy. He's big. And if he wrestles you, if he grapples you, you get tired. And I felt it because like we've been doing so many rounds, and back to back rounds, Sean goes with high level guys. I tell you, high level guys. That room that we have, and I have to say credit to Sean because he kind of created that surrounding of those high level guys wanting to come and train with him in that group. That's high level. And you don't see Sean getting like dominated by anyone in that group, and Sean's cardio is on point. So I think I mean it's MMA. Anything can happen, but I'm definitely rooting for Sean, and I think there's a high chance we're gonna see a big upset tomorrow. But obviously, betting against Hamzat is like yeah, it's a high risk thing. He's been one of the most dominant middleweights, or one of the most dominant fighters in the UFC. I would say next to John Jones we've ever seen.
Yeah,
Right.
currently, yeah.
But yeah, now we're gonna see how he's doing against a high level guy that can wrestle, that can grapple, and that's big. So let's see.
Yeah,
Maybe he writes history and becomes most dominant fighter, or maybe Sean is gonna ruin the party and write history himself.
yeah, I can't wait to see it, man. I really can't wait to see
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And
Same.
listen, man, thank you for coming on. I hope to be interviewing you after. your next fight, of course, that we're keeping on the
Sure.
hush until next week,
Yes.
you said. And yeah,
Yes.
I can't wait to hear the announcement, man. And
Thank
best
you,
of luck,
brother.
man. Best of luck,
Thank you,
man.
Matthew. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Appreciate you. Thank you. Take care.